With Election Day coming up this November, we can all feel tension building. Many people don't understand how our system works or don't understand why they should care. At its core level, the U.S. is a representative democracy. This means when you go to your polling place to vote in November, you vote on people who represent both you and your community in the government. Said government is formed from 3 levels: federal, state, and local. Most people are familiar with the federal level, the president and their cabinet, but the farther down this chain you go, the bigger the impact the officials can have on your life, and therefore the more important the election is. State elections are pretty much like federal elections, just on a smaller scale. Hot-button issues that are normally debated by presidential candidates are also debated at this level. Officials elected here have just as much power as Congress to pass laws. They just only affect one state. Laws regarding national issues involving firearms, healthcare, and discrimination can be passed more easily because fewer people, and people with more similar interests, need to make compromises. Local elections affect people most of all. Anything that happens at the local level directly impacts your community. Roads and sidewalks can be repaved, public transit can be introduced, county sheriffs can be elected, and environmental guidelines could be established. The list goes on and on. A county or town can do a lot more for the average resident than you might expect. Voting is one of the safest ways to bring about change, but it's often inaccessible to many Americans. There are helpful nonpartisan websites like Ballotpedia, VoteSmart, and Vote 411 that give information about elections and the candidates running in them. Some just collect information and compile it in one place, while others will give you a survey and then list the candidates in order of how much their platform aligns with your opinions. It's also important to remember that voting isn't a test. You can write down who you're going to vote for on a sample ballot from one of these websites and bring it to the polls. You can even bring your phone in many places as long as you don't take a picture of your ballot. Registering to vote can also be made easy with many of the same websites. There are also YouTube channels like How to Vote in Every State that update every year with how to register to vote, as well as what to bring to the polls. Maybe the effort to register isn't your issue. If you can't get to the polls for whatever reason, over 20 states allow online voting in some form. And if it's the line that bothers you, others allow early voting. Some states allow anyone to vote absentee, but mail-in voting is becoming increasingly common. Check for your state specifically. While voting can sometimes feel hopeless, it's important to remember that politics is more than just the president, and your vote does make an impact.